Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about zero trust security, one of the most modern and important approaches to protecting networks and data. We often hear about cyber attacks in news, companies losing millions of dollars, sensitive data being leaked, or hackers getting access to private systems. Traditional security models are not enough anymore because they assume that anyone inside the network is trustworthy. The zero trust changes this completely. It gives a smarter, safer way to protect sensitive information. Even if someone inside the network, they cannot automatically access everything. They must continuously prove that they are allowed to do so. In simple words, zero trust says never trust, always verify the users. Let's understand the problem with traditional security first. Imagine a castle with a big main gate. If someone gets inside the gate, they can move freely inside the castle. That's how old security system worked. It was okay when all employees and the computers were inside the office, only connected to the internal network. But now people work remotely, use cloud services and access system from different devices like laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. Hackers have become smarter too. Even they can get one password or find a way inside the network. They can move freely around. One breach could allow them to access important financial records, personal data, and confidential projects. This shows why traditional security is no longer enough. We need stronger model that continuously protects every part of the networks. That's where zero trust comes in. Why do we need zero trust more than ever? More devices and users. Everyone uses laptops, tablets, smartphones, and cloud services. Each device can be a potential entry point. A remote work. Employees work from home, cafes, or other remote locations. Traditional office security is not enough. Smarter attacks. Hackers now use advanced techniques like phishing, malware, and ransomware. Insider's threat. Sometimes employers or partners can accidentally or intentionally cause damage. In old security models, anyone inside the network is trusted. That's the huge risk. Zero trust reduces the risk by controlling access and continuously verifying their identity. There are five core principles in zero trust. The first principle of zero trust is to verify users and device. In traditional system, if you're logged in once, they were trusted for a long time. But hackers can exploit this trust. Zero trust does not allow that. Every user and device must prove their identity every time they try to use access anything. Verification done in multiple ways. Password, the basic step, multiple factor authentication. You may get a one time code on your phone or email. This is another layer. Biometrics, fingerprint or face recognition can verify identity. Device check. The system ensures that device is known, updated, and secure. Example, imagine a library where you need a library card to enter. Even after entering, each section may require a separate pass. Zero trust works the same way. Just way you just because you got in once does not mean you can access everything. The principle ensures that even a hacker steals a password, they cannot access the network without passing all verification steps. The second principle is least privilege access. In a zero trust network, each user only gets access to what they need for their job. No more, no less. This prevents misuse or accidental mistakes. Example 1. An HR employee might need access to employee records, but not need access to financial accounts. Example 2. A developer working on a software code only has access to code repository, not the payroll data. Think of it like a hotel key card. Some cards open only the guest room. The manager's cards open the guest room and the office. No one gets access to the vault unless authorized. This limits the damage if an account is hacked. Even if an attacker gains access to one account, they cannot move freely across the network fully. The third principle is continuous monitoring. Zero Trust does not trust the user just because they logged in once. It continuously watches what users and devices are doing. How it works. If someone logins at unusual time or from an unusual location, the system detects it. If suddenly a device downloading large amounts of data, the system may flag it. If a user tries to access their resources that does not normally use, the system re-requests by doing a verification. Example, imagine a security guard at a building who keeps on watching all employees even after they pass in the main gate. If someone starts walking into the restricted areas, the guard intervenes immediately. Continuously monitoring that Continuously monitoring helps detect attacks quickly, stop attacking hackers before they can cause damages. Fourth principle is microsegmentation. Instead of having a one big network where everyone can move freely, Zero Trust divides a network into smaller zones. Each zone has its own security rules. Example, think a house with multiple rooms. If even someone opens the front door, they cannot access every doors unless they have permission of each one. If a hackers enters the one segment of the network, they cannot access the rest without proper verification. This prevents large-scale damage and keeps the rest of the system safe. The fifth principle is encryption. Encryption is the process of converting the data into a secret code so that only authorized users can read it. Zero Trust encrypts all data, whether it is stored or being sent across the network. Example, imagine sending a secret letter in a locked box. Even if someone interrupts it, they cannot read the contents without using the key. Encryption protects secret information like financial data, personal details, and company secrets. Even a hacker manages to steal the data, it is useless without the key. Let us see how Zero Trust works in real life step by step. Login attempts. A user tries to access a system. Verification. The system checks their identity, device, and their location. Limited access. Only necessary resources for the jobs are allowed. Continuous monitoring. The system watches for unusual activity. Action on anomalies. If suspicious activities is detected, access is blocked or re-verified. A simple analogy, think of it like a airport security. Even after passing the main entrance, you must show ID and boarding pass at each checkpoint before reaching the gate. The security team also monitors the movements in every terminal. This process repeats for every users, device, and applications, making the network much safer than others. Google uses zero trust model called Beyond Path. Employees can work securely from wherever they are working. Example, offices, home, or while traveling. Every access is checked based on who the employee is, which device they are using, from where they are accessing. These models eliminate the need of traditional VPNs while keeping the system secure. Beyond Corp shows how zero trust can be applied to large organizations with thousands of users. A simple story, imagine an employee traveling abroad, normally logged in from another country, might trigger a security alert with Beyond Corp. The system verifies the employee device and locations, then allows limited access safely to the users. Zero Trust has many benefits. Strong protection from hackers and internal threats, limits attackers' movement inside the network, support remote work and cloud access securely, protects sensitive data more effectively, reduces impact of single compromised account. Example, if a hacker steals one's user password, they may access only a small part of the system. The rest remains safe because of the verification, least privileges, and segmentation principles. Even though zero trust is strong, it comes with some challenges. Planning. Setting up zero trust requires careful design and understanding of the network. Tools. It may need new softwares for monitoring, verification, and management. User experience. Frequent verifications may feel strict or inconvenient. Staff training. Organization needs skilled person to manage the system. Despite these challenges, Zero Trust is very effective in preventing attacks and protecting sensitive data. Moving beyond principles, a zero trust architecture lays on several technical components working together. The identity provider is a source of truth for who the user is. This feeds into policy engine, which is the brain that decides whether the access is granted or not. This decision is not static. It uses contextual data like checking your device is updated or if you're logging in from an unusual location. The gateway then enforces the policy at the micro perimeter. And analytics tools gives us visibility need for continuous monitoring. Implementing zero trust is a journey, not a switch. You begin by focusing and planning, identifying your most sensitive data and critical steps. Next, you must identify or establish the identity provider and immediately roll out multiple factor authentication to everyone. The next major step is to microsegment, starting with small and high risk application to gain experiences. From there, you begin policy enforcement across the rest of the network. And finally, moving into continuous optimization, where you automate response to suspicious activities. How do we know if our zero trust strategy is working? We measure success. The most fundamental metric is MFA adoption rate. If people not using MFA, you are not using zero trust. We also track the reduction in an attacker's lateral movement, proving segmentation is effective. Other key metrics include the policy coverage of the critical assets and the significant movement in our incident response time. Overall goal is to reduce VPN dependency, and as sign we have successfully moved to a modern security model. Zero trust is rapidly becoming a standard for modern network security. Big companies like Microsoft, Google, and government agencies are already using it. As networks become more complex and remote, more continues to grow. Zero trust will likely to become a mandatory for most organizations. It is not just a trend, it is a necessary for security operation in today's digital world. It is important to understand how zero trust differs fundamentally from traditional VPN. A VPN operates on implicit trust. Once you are connected, it trusts your device and grants access to entire network. Zero trust, however, operates on explicit trust. It trusts nothing and grants only access to least privileged access, just what you need for the moment. A VPN verification is typically a single and initial check. With zero trust uses continuous verification, this difference is critical because if a device using a VPN is compromised, the attackers can move freely, whereas zero trust microsegmentation contains threats. Truly appreciate zero trust, we must understand how the security perimeter has evolved. Traditionally, the perimeter was a fixed physical edge, like a firewall, castle wall. The default stand was to trust internal users and only distance the outside. The model key risk was that once a hacker got past the wall, they can move freely. Today, the perimeter is no longer a wall. It's every user, every device, and every resources. The default stand is to distract everyone, everywhere. The focus shifts from new location to the user's identity, the device health, and the access context, making every access point its own security perimeter. To summarize, zero trust means never trust, always verify. It uses principles like verification, least privileged access, continuous monitoring, microsegmentation, and encryption. Even if attackers get into the network, they cannot move freely or steal sensitive data. So it is perfect for modern network, cloud system, and remote work environments. Zero Trust provides a strong and modern approach to cybersecurity. Thank you for listening. I hope this explanation helps you to understand Zero Trust clearly